Hey guys, it's Safer, aka Spectre Ascendant, and welcome on back to another video. It has been a while, I know, I am sorry. Today's video is if every gym leader was a champion. Now there are some rules which you can see on screen, but I'll just explain them. Every gym leader will have six Pokemon from their region with one form change. And for the Paldea gym leaders, they'll have Terrestrialization and also a form change. The Kanto gym leaders will have access to the Johto Pokemon, as the Indigo League encompasses both Kanto and Johto, since you don't fight Lance twice. You don't fight two champions in the Johto games, is what I'm trying to say. And finally, all teams will have the most expanded version of their region's Pokédex. And now we get started with the first gym leader in the series, the Kanto region's Brock, whose team will be Aerodactyl, Carbotops, Golem, Sudowoodo, Tyranitar, and Megasteelix. The first four are Pokemon he uses at some point or another. Tyranitar is there because if Lance can have 3 Dragonites, all of whom that are under leveled, Brock can have 1 Tyranitar, and Steelix is the Mega that fits him best. Next up is Misty, whose team will be Lantern, Omastar, Vaporeon, Azumarill, Gyarados, and Mega Starmie. Pretty self-explanatory, they're all water types, and as Starmie is her most canonical ace, it's the Mega she has. Having a quick drink. Next is Lieutenant Surge, whose team will be Jolteon, Electrode, Magnezone, Electivire, and Mega Raichu X. The fully evolved versions of all of the non-legendary Kanto electric types. And I'll just toss on Ampharos as a 6th Pokemon, because I like Ampharos. And I think it could help Surge work through his war PTSD. Next up is Erica, whose team will be Tangrowth, Executor, Blossom, Victreebel, Vileplume, and Mega Venusaur. The first 5 are Pokemon she always uses at some point or another, and Venusaur because it's another grass poison type. Next up is the Ninja Koga, whose team will be Ariados, Quillfish, Weezing, Muk, Crobat, and Ace Mega Gengar, because I would like to see Gengar be the ace of a poison specialist for a change. And next up is Koga's daughter Janine, whose team will be very much similar, except Weezing gets replaced with Arbok, Muk with Venomoth, Crobat with Nidoqueen, and Mega Gengar for Mega Beedrill. Next up is Sabrina, whose team will just be Psychic type Pokemon she's used, Jinx, Hypno, Mr. Mime, Slowbro, Espeon, and Mega Alakazam. This team is pretty self-explanatory. Next up is the crazy mad scientist, Blaine, whose team will be Flareon, Magcargo, Rapidash, Magmortar, Arcanine, and Mega Houndoom. Finally for Kanto is the mob boss Giovanni, since Blue has already been a champion. And Giovanni's team is going to get interesting. Persian, Dugtrio, Honchko, Nidoking, Viperia, and Mega Kangaskhan as his ace. Now I know this is not a fully ground type team, but Giovanni is also the Don of the Kanto mob. He's not going to stick to a type specialty if he was the champion. Moving on to Joe. And I know Blue's already been a champion, and I know I just said I wasn't going to cover him, but I might as well give him a gym leader themed team if he was to try again. Machamp, Executor, Arcanine, Gyarados, Tyranitar, and Mega Pidgeot. Moving on to Johto with Faulkner, whose team will be Skarmory, Xatu, Yanmega, Honchkrow, Crobat, and Ace Mega Pidgeot. 5 Johto flying types, and his ace. Next up is Bugsy, whose team will be Shuckle, Heracross, Pinsir, Fortress, Yanmega, and Mega Scizor. And I know I just gave Yanmega to Faulkner, but Faulkner would only have Yanmega if he was the champion, and Bugsy would only have it if they were the champion. Next up, whose team would be Furret, Ambipom, Blissey, Wigglytuff, that, and Mega Clefable. Moving on, Morty, who will have Mismagius, and 2 Gengars, because there are these are the only fully evolved ghost types native to Kanto and Johto. So now, things might get a little bit goofy. First up, we give him a Weezing. I'm allowing him at least 1 Pokemon from the Burnt Tower, which is right next, which he frequents in his hometown of Ecruteak. I'm going to give him an Alolan Marowak, a ghost type of a Johto Pokedex Pokemon, and Hisuian Typhlosion, a ghost type variant of a Johto native Pokemon. Next up is Chuck, whose team's going to be Hitmonlee, Hitmontop, Blazebreed, Paldean Tauros, Annihilate, Poliwrath, and Mega Heracross. Now, I know that Annihilate is not in any Johto Pokedex. However, I personally feel like every gym leader should have all of their Pokemon fully evolved. Well, every champion, I should say. Anyway, next up is Jasmine, whose team will be Magnezone, Fortress, Steelix, Alolan Sandslash, Skarmory, and Amphi, the Mega Ampharos. Amphi is literally owned by Jasmine. She should be allowed to use him in battle. Next up is Price, whose team is going to be Dugong, Lapras, Cloyster, Weavile, Mamoswine. And because there is no Ice-type Mega in Kanto and Johto, I'm just going to give him Mega Glalie. And now we move on to Claire, who in this timeline would be, with this team she would be champion and would have actually beaten her cousin Lance. So she would actually be able to call herself the best dragon user in the world without sounding like an egotistical woman. Anyway, her team is Kingdra, Gyarados, Dragonite, Charizard, Tyranitar, and Mega Feraligatr. Moving swiftly on to Hoenn, 7.8 out of 10, too much water. We have Roxanne. The camera's going in and out of focus at the minute, guys. I do apologize. Hopefully this sorts it. Anyway, Roxanne's team is going to be Armaldo, Cradily, Aggron, Rhyperior, Probopass, and Mega Aerodactyl. Next up, Brawly, whose team will be Breloom, Medicham, Gallade, Machamp, Hariyama, and Mega Blaziken. I know there are some non-Hoenn Pokemon in there, but this is with the Aura stacks. Anyway, now we get to Watson, whose team will be Lantern, Plusle, Minun, Magnezone, Electrode, and Mega Manectric. Which should have been a safe in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but I'm not going to rant about it. Too many people have already. Next up is Flannery, whose team is going to start off with Macargo, Torkoal, and Mega Camerupt. And to fill out the rest of her team, I'll give her a Ninetales from Mount Pyre, a second Camerupt, since in Emerald, and only Emerald, she uses a Numel and a Camerupt. And for a final Pokemon, let's just give her Blaziken. And then moving on to Norman. Now there are no normal type megas in the Hoenn Dex in order, so I'm just gonna give him a natural Dex one. His team will be Spinder, Linoon, Exploud, Zangoose, Hail Yeah, the cast form, and Mega Kangaskhan because he's a dad. Next up is Winona, whose team will be Swallow, the best bird, Pelipper, Skarmory, Tropius, Dodrio, and Mega Altaria. And I know Mega Altaria is not a flying type, but it's her race. Moving on. The twins, T and Liza, who will use 3 pairs of Pokémon. Solrock and Lunatone, Xatu and Claydol, and Mega Gardevoir and Mega Gallade. Yeah, I'm giving them 2 Megas. And y'all are probably going to assume that this is unfair as all hell. But, in the games, if these 2 were the champions using a Mega Gardevoir and a Mega Gallade, you, the player, would have access to, at the bare minimum, a Mega Hoenn starter, a Mega Latios or Latias, and a Primal Groudon or Kyogre at the bare minimum during the champion battle. Mega Latios and Latias have a base stat total of 700, which in itself is higher than base form Groudon and Kyogre. But in their primal forms, Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre have base stat totals that are higher than Arceus. Moving on to Wallace, whose team will just moving on to Wallace, who is canonically a champion in one version of Hoenn. He'll just have Mega Gyarados. So the final gym leader for Hoenn is Juan, whose team will be Huntail, Walrein, Crawdaunt, Wailord, Kingdra, and Mega Swampert. Now we move on to Hoenn, starting with Rourke, whose team will be Bastiodon, Rampardos, Sudowoodo, Golem, Rhyperior, and Mega Tyranitar. I am taking a mini hydration break. Now for Gardenia. Her team will be Torterra, Cherim, Carnivine, Leafeon, Roserade, and Mega Meganium. She always has a Torterra, so I'm gonna give her Mega Meganium because Roserade has flowers. Mega Meganium has a neck full of flowers. Next up is Maylene, whose team will be Machamp, Medicham, Infernape, Toxicroak, Gallade, and Mega Lucario. Next up is Crusher Wake, whose team will be Floatzel, Empoleon, Gastrodon, Luminion, Golduck, and unfortunately Mega Gyarados. Francina's next, whose team will be Mismagius, Drifblim, Rotom, Spiritomb, Dusknoir, Mega Gengar. Byron! How you doing, buddy? His team is going to be Magnezone, Scizor, Probopass, Bronzong, Bastiodon, and Mega Steelix. Candace will have Glaceon, Weavile, Frost Rotom, Glalie, Abomasnow, and Mega Frostlass. Finally is Faulkner, whose team will be Fan Rotom, Luxray, Pachirisu, Jolteon, Electivire, and Mega Raichu Y. I feel like Mega Raichu X worked better with the strong physical military man that is Lieutenant Surge. So Faulkner gets Raichu Y. Moving on to Unova, and again I'm picking from the Black 2 White 2 Unova decks. The triplets are just going to have the monkeys and the Mega Evolving Kanto starters, with Chili getting Mega Charizard decks. This is boring, I know, these 3 are basically the same person 3 times over. Anyway, on to a more fun gym leader, Cherin. Chinchino, Zangoose, Stoutland, Swordsbuck, Braviary, and Mega Lopunny make up his team. Next up is Lenora, whose team will be Licky, Delcatty, Watchog, Wigglytuff, Ampharsant, and Mega Ordino. 6 Unifidex normal type Pokemon that I didn't give to Chevron. Next up is Roxy, whose team will be Garbodor, Drapion, Amoonguss, Crobat, Seviper, and Mega Scolipede as her race. Moving on to Bug, whose team would be Excelgor, Crustle, Vespiquen, Escavalier, Leavanny, and Mega Heracross. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I just burped there. I didn't mean to, which is why I said excuse me. Anyway, I know I could have given Mega Scolipede to Bug, but he only uses the Scolipede line once in black and white, whereas Whirlipede is Roxy's ace. And I felt it wasn't justifiable for Bug to have it if he only uses it once. Next up is Lisa, whose team will be Emolga, Galvantula, Stunfisk, Ampharos, Substriker, and Mega Electros. All Pokemon she's used at some point, except Stunfisk. I just wanted her to have mostly Unifor Pokemon. And Mega Electros is the clear ace because it's a Unifor electric type. Next up is Clay, whose team will be Crocodile, Steelix, Stunfisk, Golurk, Seismitoad, and Mega Excadrill. Mega Excadrill is easy because it is his ace normally. Skylar is next, whose team will be Mandibuzz, Swoobat, Archeops, Braviary, Swanna, and Mega Skarmory. 6 flying types she uses, all of which have unique typings. Next up is Bryson, whose team will be Walrein, Vanilluxe, Cryogonal, Beartic, Weavile, and Mega Sharpedo. And before you come at me, I know Sharpedo is not in a nice type. There are no good ice type options that suit him. So I looked through every single Pokemon he uses, and I saw that as Bryson Man, he uses Sharpedo, which can Mega Evolve. So you've got the Ice Dark type Weavile, the Ice Water type Walrein. You take the Water type from Walrein, you take the Dark type from Weavile, you get Sharpedo, Mega Sharpedo. Next up is Drayden, not Iris, because Iris is a champion. Drayden will have Druddigon, Flygon, Hydreigon, Haxorus, Altaria, and Mega Salamence. And finally for Unifor is Marlon, who will have Jellicent, Caracosta, Wailord, Alola, Mantine, and Mega Starmie, because this man does not use a single Gyarados. Moving on to Carlos, the region that founded Mega Evolution, with Viola, who have Vivian, Masquerain, Heracross, Beedrill, Yanmega, and Mega Pinsir. Moving on to Grant, who have Tyrantrum, Aerodactyl, Gigalith, Aurorus, Crustle, and Mega Barbaracle as his ace. It's a Carlos Rock type that has a Mega. Moving on to Karina, and this woman could have had any Mega Evolution, or any 6 fighting types for that matter. Heck, I could have given her a team of Mega Evolutions, but I decided on Minxiao, Machamp, Harlucha, Gallade, Chestnut, and Mega Lucario Z. Moving on to Ramos, and his team's going to be interesting. I decided that as champion, his team should have a gardening theme rather than being all grass types. So his team is Go-Goat to ride around his greenhouses, Simipour to water plants, Solrock for sunlight, Scizor to trim excess excess hedge growth, Machamp to carry him when his elderly joints get sore, and it's not creepy. Machamp literally carries you as a ride Pokemon in Alola. And for Mega, I'll give him Mega Victory Bell because he uses Weeping Bell. Next up is Clement, who soon will be Dedenne, Heliolisk, Magnezone, Heat Rotom, Jolteon, and Mega Ampharos. I still don't get why he had Emolga and not Dedenne. Moving on to Valerie, who soon will be the perfect Pokemon Sylveon, Slurpuff, Klefki, Gardevoir, Florges, and Mega Mawile. Olympia will have Sigilyph, Slowking, Gothitelle, Espeon, Delphox, and Mega Meowstic. And the last Carlos gym leader is Wolfric, who will have Kyogre, Weavile, Beartic, Aurorus, Avalugg, and Mega Abomasnow, the latter of which he had in the anime. Now, Alola does not have gym leaders, so I decided to select Hala, Olivia, Acerola, and Kahili, the Sun and Moon Elite 4. So starting off with Hala, Hariyama, Primeape, Poliwrath, Beware, Kommo-o, and Mega Crabominable. And since Crabominable is his Mega, Kommo-o will have to fight Tinium Z. Next is Olivia, who will have Cradily, Aurorus, Archeops, Gigalith, Lycanroc, and Mega Tyranitar, with Lycanroc being the one to use the Z move. Next is Acerola, who will have Drifblim, Frostlass, Delmise, Palisand, Mimikyu, and Mega Bayonet, with Mimikyu using the Z move. Finally is Kahili, who will have Bile Olicoleo, Skarmory, Clawbat, Mandibuzz, Toucannon, and Mega Harlucha, all 6 fighting types still with unique dual types, and Toucannon gets to hold the C move, C Crystal even. Starting off with Galar now, we've got Milo, and Bellossom, Shiftry, Ludicolo, Cherim, Eldegoss, and Mega Appleton, not Mega Appleton, G-Max Appleton, make up his team. Next up is Nessa, who will have Golisopod, Pelipper, Barraskewda, Quagsire, Toxapex, and G-Max Dreadnought. Moving on to Kabu, who will have Salazzle, Ninetales, Flareon, Torkoal, Arcanine, and G-Max Centiskorch. Next up is B, who will have Surfetched, Hitmontop, Harlucha, Phalanx, Grapploct, and G-Max Machamp. I know I'm going through these rather quickly, guys, but at the time of recording, I am on a bit of a time crunch, so I'm trying to get through them quickly, whilst also being coherent for you guys. Alistair is up next, who'll have Runerigus, Dusknoir, Cursula, Chandelure, Mimikyu, and G-Max Gengar. Next up is Opal, and this woman only has 4 Pokemon normally: Galarian Weezing, Togekiss, Mawile, and G-Max Alchemy. So I'll just give her Granbull because she's an old English lady, and Slurpuff because Alchemy is a cake, Slurpuff is a dessert. It makes sense. Next up is the cool guy Gordy, who'll have Barbaracle, Tyranitar, Gigalith, Shuckle, Stonejana, and G-Max Colossal. Moving on to Gordy's mother Melanie, who'll have Ice-Q, Frostmoth, Abomasnow, Galarian Darmanitan, Mr. Rime, and G-Max Lapras. Next up is Piers, who doesn't use G-Max, so he gets a Mega. Weavile, Skuntank, Scarfty, Feeble, Obstagoon, and G-Max Malamar. I know that he doesn't normally use Feeble, but I would rather give him all dark types than give him a Toxtricity. Finally, for Galar is Rayhan, who have Flygon, Dracofish, Dracozolt, Goodra, Dragapult, and G-Max Duraludon. 6 dragon types because he's a dragon man. And finally we get to Paldea, starting with Katie, who have Spidops, Lokix, Vespiquen, Fortress, Terrabug Garceluna, and Mega Heracross. Moving on to Brassius, who have Breloom, Arboliver, Flapple, Sarina, Garth-Terra Sudowoodo, and Mega Venusaur. Next up is the streamer girl Iono, who have Kilowattrel, Bellibolt, Luxray, Electrode, Electric Terra Mismagius, and Mega Ampharos. Chef Kofu is cooking up a meal with Pelipper, Wugtrio, a Veluza that has been faulted. If it's not a faulted Veluza, or if it's not a Volten Veluza, he ain't gonna use it. Chlorza, Water Terra Abominable, and Mega Feraligatr, which ironically is his League Clubroom team, which works. Next up is Larry, who have a hybrid normal flying team because he uses both types. Kamala, Oricorio Pom-Pom, the Dunsparce, Flamigo, Normal Terra Tropius, and Mega Staraptor. Next up is Rhyme, who will use 3 pairs of Pokémon, Mimikyu and Bayonet, Spiritomb and Houndstone, and Ghost Terra Toxtricity and Mega Golurk. Next up is Tulip, who will have Gallade, Espathra, Farigarath, Gardevoir, Psychic Terra Florges, and Mega Delphox. And now we are at the final gym leader, Glusha, who will have Beartic, Frostmoth, Satitan, Weavile, Ice Terra Altaria, and Mega Frostlass. And that is all gym leaders given champion teams. Let me know your thoughts about the teams in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click on the video recommended on screen. That is all I have for now. So until next time, I've been Safer, aka Spectre Ascendant. Take care and bye bye.